Manager on LMA projects or ICE Mortgage Technology. Your name is Ramu. You have applied for developer role with Persistent. This is your client round with us. Tell me about yourself, Ramu. What kind of a technical journey you have had? What kind of work items you have worked on?
Yeah, coming to thanks for giving these opportunities as Arshdeep, right? Can I call Harsha?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah, that
Yeah.
works.
Thanks, Harsha. Yeah. Coming to, I have a total 10 years of experience in .NET technology. My career was started as ASP.NET, and after that I was moved to MVC. And we have done like a lot of healthcare projects on MVC. And presently we are doing an ERP catering platform, which is having .NET Core. The versionly it was implemented as .NET MVC. We are working as converting the monolith application to microservices right now. In my experience in terms of I work as a center of excellence team in a organization. We are doing this POCs apart from our regular task to do the showcase to the whatever the problem statement to the current project or different projects we are facing. We have implemented those POCs, showcase to the client and approved that those statements, whatever the work we done. We are trying to moving the code to that whatever the current problem statement to resolve that issues. Along as part of my journey, I was working as an Azure with the different services using the app service, function app, Azure app inside, service bus, and load balancer, and creating the primary and secondary replica databases. It's a kind of mix and match. Whenever there is a problem of in terms of performance, in terms of application availability, we are doing some sort of the POCs to done to complete it and to make the client happy, as well as performance of an application is much better in the real world of application. I have exposure on SQL Server. I do have exposure on MongoDB and SQL Server NoSQL database to save our the log information instead of getting saved into the local database or C drive. Instead of doing, we done with one of the POCs to save of all the exceptions or logging information into the Azure table storage to get the logs quickly to identify and fix that issue whenever it is application is running on production, kind of thing.
Okay, right, fantastic. And tell me any complex work item which you have worked on, Ramu, which was technically challenging and you had to apply some technical skills to resolve.
Yeah, coming to the application is a monolith application. We have hosted application in each region wise, North America, Latam, EMEA region, and different. We have 4 regions hosted an application. Each country using like we have each region we have 20 to 30 countries kind of thing. They will use the monolith application. Everyone is having the performance implication at that point of while I join, and we have identified the root cause. The same database using by the multiple customers and multiple countries in a single region, we have converted in terms of primary and secondary replica, configuring into the cluster and the primary secondary. All the reports will go to the secondary. We have to apply some optimization mechanism in terms of making as a partitioning of each country wise, making the applying some sort of indexing to using the some new technologies in terms of using the temp tables and making improvement on the database side while fetching the reports, as well as in terms of client side, in terms of the C# logic. We are trying to we have a big list of the concept was implemented earlier. They thought that they will use that the data with the millions of records, but nowadays trillions of the records might be possible. Instead of getting all the data at a time, it is trying to get the smaller list and performing an operation using the async mechanism and parallelism. Whenever it is a chance, we can apply the parallelism, trying to increase the number of cores. It will try to execute in the cores here, Harsha.
Yeah. So you are comfortable writing the parallel programming code?
Yeah.
Good. So tell me what all construct or what all .NET parallel programming objects or things you have tried.
Okay. But we have a task mechanism. We have to Earlier it was implemented as a threading. We have some of the drawbacks of threading. It is using the single in terms of I have a multi-core application. We have tried with the performance tool and trying to see if we have the multiple threads, what is the performance implication. We don't have any guarantees that it has to be used on single core itself. There is no guarantee it has to be used the multi cores, even though the course is available. Whenever we are trying to convert the threading to the parallel programming, parallel.each, parallel.for-each, I have like each day the DL customer is having the 200 flights. Instead of going the one by one, why can't we go with the each flight is having the separate operations. Each flight is having the different numbers of the passengers, different number of the food, and we have to supply the different numbers of water bottles. There is an independent task. Even though if independent task, why we need to wait until the completion of one of the flight operation has to be complete. In this case, we can get that all the information in terms of the flight IDs, parallel.for-each. If there is any concept of we have to wait until all the task has to be complete, we will have the concept of the wait and when all the mechanism which has been defined by the predefined mechanism. Even though if you want to cancel by using the cancellation source, something goes down on a particular flight, I don't want to wait of other operation has to be failed, right? I want to log that information in terms of event sources, Azure App Insights kind of thing. This is what we can achieve by using task, Harsha.
Right. So do you think we can blindly convert all the for-each loop into parallel.for-each?
No. We have to take care of.
Why not?
Do you have any dependencies are there? First of all.
What kind of dependencies you are talking?
I have a for-each loop. There is a chance of the flights, like I have 200 flights of the DL customer. In this case, each flight is having there is no dependency in terms of once there is a chance of I don't want to create a flight which is the first flight is not as departure. In those cases, if you want to go with the blind way, then it will not be going to be work. We have to know there could be a chances of the service which has been provided by the client is not yet ready to accept our services kind of thing.
Now, in technical terms, okay, we'll see. Based on your example, it certainly makes sense that one flight at a time, right? But in technical terms, in which case we should not use parallel.for-each loop or those kind of things.
I want to I have requested one of the resource from the service. I am waiting for the input for the next level. In those cases, it is not the good approach to.
So do you mean to say that iteration one of a for loop defines what to be done in iteration 2?
Correct.
Okay. And how about this thing, shared variables? If there are any shared variables in between, then is it okay to use for-each loop?
No.
Parallel.for-each loop?
No. We have to use the locking mechanism. If we have the shared resources, we have to use the lock, mutex, and semaphore. We have to handle.
What's the difference between these three?
Yeah, lock is the sweetest syntax of the monitor doc entry and monitor dot exit. Mutex is the in terms of we have used the lock and mutex dot wait and release the locking mechanism. If we have that the external systems is trying to access our services, in those cases I will go with the monit. I will go with the mutex class.
Okay. And when do we go with semaphore?
Semaphore I haven't used.
Theoretically, not practically, but theoretically, when should we choose it? Do you know explanation when to use semaphore?
Sorry.
Okay. That's good. Tell me about your collection. Are you hands-on or this is only theory?
Which one?
Means up till now, what?
No. I have hands-on.
Let's do one example. Okay, Ramu, can you do me a favor? Can you put a notepad or something on your screen?
Okay.
Share your screen and let's see. I would like to see how do you write code.
Okay. Okay, I have shared my screen.
Yes, yes. Now, let's start with a very simple example. Okay, I want to. I want a function which accepts a list of integer. Okay, from this list, I want to know which number is maximum occurring number on this list. A list of integer.
Okay.
So which number is maximum occurring number? How do you find it?
Okay. Here the list of integers. Yeah. Do you want me to write a code or explain?
Both are fine.
Okay.
Both are fine.
Okay.
Tell me how would you approach?
Yeah, I want to loop it here. The list, right? Let's say I will write for each loop.
Okay, for each loop. Okay. I get it. Right. I get it. You loop up till the length. I get it.
Yeah.
And then you will increment. Okay.
Yeah. Increment
less than.
Yeah.
Index less than this, and I get it.
Okay. Here, what
then
I will
what
do
will
is
you do
here I will maintain in terms of here, right? While I want to loop it until the list count greater than 0. I will tell
that's
you.
What you have in a for loop also.
Yeah, right? I will tell you what is the reason behind that. Okay. Here list length is greater than 0. I want to get the first. I want to get the count. Int count for what are the characters in the first character, first integer. First int it is coming from the list of 0. I have the input of a list of 0, first integer in the list. I want to compare how many occurrences in a particular the list. The list I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Let's say.
Right.
1.
Let's say 1, 2, and 1. Okay. 1, 2, and 1. Okay.
1, 2, and 1. Okay. It will. Right. First, I want to get that count is 0 initially. I want to assign this value to first integer. I want to loop it. How many like the first integer? I want to check it if first integer equal to list of index. If it is a list of index, I want to here I want to make some count plus plus. Okay, this count plus plus I have to here are the like if it is a 1.
So what will happen? What will happen? Let's go through the code.
Okay.
What will happen? So first, while loop will not end anytime, right? Why while loop?
Yes. Here the next thing is list dot remove of. I want to remove the list of this character, this integer.
Okay.
Then here we have like the one it will remove, right? 1 it will gone. Next it is 2. Once that is 2 is done, I will remove the 2. It will not go into the again once the 2 is done.
Okay. So can you do it in one loop? 2 loops are killing, right?
Okay. Okay. Let me think about how can we use that existing method. Existing like link queries.
Whatever.
Yeah, in the link query we can able to. I think so. We can able to achieve by using link query. Okay, I will remove here. I want to remove this one as well. I want to remove this one. This is in loop of for. This is loop. Okay. This I have a list dot where count max count equal to, let's say, list dot count of list of index. What it will give is, it will give the what is the maximum character count. It has to be unique, list dot distinct. I think here what I will do is okay, where the distinct list dot distinct. Here I will get the distinct elements. Here, the distinct elements, the length. I have the list and I have the distinct element. The loop will be done how many of the distinct elements we have, and the distinct element the list dot count of list of index. It will give that we have to take where sub array. So kind of sub array dot push to max count. Yeah, I will push to the max count, and I will try to get what is the max count value. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Just a moment. Huh?
Yeah.
Good. Ramu, both of your solutions work. Okay, I'm not saying that they are not working, but they are not efficient. They are very, means you have applied very hard logic on it. There are very simple solutions. For example, using link, we could use
Yes.
link
Correct.
group by solutions.
Yeah.
Using group by and then take
Yes.
the max count out of it, right?
Yeah. That is
We
also
could have
possible.
done it. It's very simple, right? It doesn't require all this if else and for and all those things.
Correct.
Do you think you can write that?
Yeah.
Sure, give it a try.
Yeah, because some of the interviewer, what they will think is without using the predefined function, right? I thought that yeah, that is fine, no problem. And the list is the value, and I want to use that link query. Okay, where max count equal to list dot select such that x dot icon group by Jesus dot item. Here we can use that list select a group by, and by item can have that max list select group by one. You can also choose Yeah, I think this will work.
Okay, next count is equal to this dot select the key group by this next. Okay. Okay. So it means not accurately, but I get your intent, what you are trying. This code may not work. So what you are trying is you are trying to go through the group by clause and then you are trying to find the maximum count, but not the key, right? What your code is doing, the key, it's trying to find the maximum key.
Yeah.
But I want you to find the maximum count, right? Not the key. But I get your intent. Google is there to help you for this reason. Don't worry about it. So this intent has to be right, Ramu? I'm not sure whether you accept it or not, but
yeah,
Google
we have
is
to
a
accept.
very simple,
Yeah.
right? Google is a very simple question answer machine, right? If you ask a wrong question, it's going to give you wrong answer. Right answer for wrong question. Okay. So that's what happens, right? So if you ask a wrong question, it's going to give you wrong answer, but it's actually right for your question. And we don't want that, right? I want people to ask right questions so that Google gives the right answer. I hope you get what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
So asking right question makes sense. If you don't have intent of asking right question, then probably Google also cannot help.
Yes,
that's what I'm trying to understand here. Whether you have capacity to ask right question to Google, right? So I think you have. Okay, next, tell me about garbage collection. What is garbage collection? Why do we need garbage collection?
Yes, the garbage collection basically it will try to collect that unused and unreferenced memories, references. In terms of if we create an object, the reference variable will be stored in the stack, and whatever the exact the object and the methods will be saved into the heap. It is trying to the garbage collector is the responsible is a background service. It will try to run it, and it will try to check in the two phases, first phase and second phase. Like it will try to collect that whatever the unused or unreferenced variables, and try to move from the first phase to second phase, and the second phase to finally cleaning process. If you want to have that mechanism in our coding also, we can use that iDisposable interface and dispose method in the finally block. We can use it. Otherwise, we can use the using block. Using block, it internally it has to be implemented as a garbage collection mechanism.
So, do you mean to say that dispose method of iDisposable calls garbage collection?
gc.collect, yeah. Internally, it has to collect. It has to call the gc.collect method, collect the unused references.
Yeah. It doesn't call it. Dispose method you write yourself, right? And if you don't call gc.collect, then garbage collector is not going to be called, right? So, do you mean to say that my question is two-way, okay? First one is whether garbage collector calls dispose or dispose calls garbage collection.
Dispose calls garbage collector.
And garbage collection does not call dispose.
Tricky. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So garbage, you are sure, right? Garbage collection doesn't call the dispose. Dispose calls garbage collection. Two-way call is not possible, right? It has to be one-way call.
Yes.
So you are found that the dispose calls garbage collection. But we write dispose method, right? Do you think so? So it's us developer who will decide what to call. Not necessarily we will be calling garbage collection all the time, isn't it? Yeah,
it's not necessary. The background service will try to check if the reference is already used some of the block of the code, and it is having some checks, and it will it have the background service, I can say. Right. Okay. And what's the difference between dispose and finalize method? Dispose and finalize method. I know it, but I can't recollect it. Because just few minutes back you said that garbage collection calls finalize method. No, it's not a finalize method. I said that in the finally block, try catch finally block, I will put it as a finally block of the current object references. I know that
Okay.
I remember, but I was not able to express what is exactly the use. I know and I have
Right.
used it.
Okay.
The finalized method and gc.collect and dispose. I know it, and we have used a few of the places.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Next, tell me about your SQL knowledge. What kind of things you have tried in SQL?
Yeah, we have used in views, create the stored procedure, making an optimization. If it is like the query is running more than 15 minutes, 20 minutes, trying to optimize the performance by using execution plan, getting that what is the IO operation are involved. Do we have any index scan? Do we have any table scan? Do we have any heap in terms of instead of going like uh, we have like indexes. Whether it is a cluster index, it will go with the binary tree, and if it is non-cluster, it will go the heap like a VLOOKUP kind of thing. Yeah, there is a multiple things we have done in terms of using the CTE, in terms of using the temp table, and yeah, yeah, it's a kind of implementation as well as optimization. Also, we have done a couple of
Okay.
the process.
When do we create views, Ram?
Yes, yeah. There is a one the valid scenario we have implemented in our projects is two ways. One is I have a table. I don't want to expose the entire table to the clients in terms of whatever the application users or the developers. I don't want to expose it. I want to give that only the tables, whatever the columns they need it. I will create a view and they will try to use that view, and they will try to insert it or update it if it is a simple view. There is another thing is there, like I have a table which is already defined. I want to change the table name for some reason. There is a some of the new columns which has been added in terms of the audit column, in terms of the some security purpose. I want to change the table name. I have an application which is already
But
defined.
why changing the name of a table is a security concern?
It's a security concern in the sense I have a columns like some of the security columns which have to you added through the existing table. In those cases, I don't want to give the same table to the all the users or developers, because those are the columns are secret manner. Let's say,
Okay.
yeah. In those
Okay.
cases, what it will happen? The table name is already defined in all the SPs and all the stored procedures and functions wherever it might be. In those cases, I don't want to change that entire all the references. Why can't we go with the view, and the view name is as a table name, and I will rename the table name to the TBL kind of thing. I don't want to change that existing block has to be modified.
Okay. Makes sense. And what is trigger? Do you know triggers?
Yes, yes, we have used the trigger in terms of auditing purpose of the stock. Uh, in terms of there is a before trigger and after trigger. It has to be
Okay.
perform. I want to get the record for a particular row before updation or insertion has happened. In terms like after trigger, it has to take that input of whatever the data before modification is happening.
Okay. Makes sense. And earlier you were mentioning about multiple users being hosted on SQL. SQL. So was it one instance, one database SQL schema serving all the customer, or how it was?
Yeah, one schema for all the customer in a single region, all the countries under a single region, and
One schema, one instance, right?
one no
One
no
for
one, it's not
example,
a
if
one
it is
instance. I said it's a we have a primary instance and secondary instance configured in the template. I can say.
right, it's a for backup. It's for scaling necessities, right? Scaling as in to ensure that data is not lost, and at a given point, at least one replica is available for you to serve the customer, right? It is for that reason. But my question is the same. For example, if a database name is let's say a production DB, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hosted on let's say server number one.
Mm-hmm.
So server number one production DB, this schema will serve all the customers, or there will be different schema per customer?
Same schema for all the customers.
Don't you think so? It's risky.
Yeah, it's risky. That is the reason we are converting into microservices.
But if microservice is not going to do anything with your database, right?
No, database also has to be divided into the each service has to maintain separate database, right?
Not certainly.
Yeah, not certainly, but yeah, ideally it has to be.
Because that will be one service only, right? For example, if it's a inventory service, then it's an inventory service for all the customers, right?
Yes, yes.
So because it's for all the customers, they are going to talk to the same database, and the one instance and one thing being shared across all the customers. It's a more of a security concern. The reason behind, Ramu, if for any bug in the application, if let's say Ramu starts seeing, or Harshdev starts seeing Ramu's bank account, how would you feel, Ramu?
But we have saved the data in terms of country ID. We are not going to give the data to the end user. For each request, we are maintaining as an areas. Each area is having an ID, and while we are fetching the data, the ID is mandatory. We are saving into the HTTP context for what is the user is having, what is the country ID, what is the customer ID. Based on the criteria, we have to get the data. We are saving the data. End user, they don't focus about how the data is saving, where the data is saving, they are only focusing about the application availability. They don't want to they needed that application whenever they are using in terms of getting the reports and performing an operation. They don't want to focus whether it is single database or multiple database. But you are right. For that one, we have for each table in terms of the transaction. Whenever we are doing transaction, whenever we are doing the getting, right, we are trying to, we have to save in terms of country ID. We have to save the customer ID while we are fetching, while we are saving. This is a common thing for all the things. We are not displaying outside, but as a developer, as a the business owner, know how the data is resided. But the end user, they don't want to know it. They are only focusing on the highly availability, highly performance, and other things apart from how the data is segregated.
And what's your exposure in terms of earlier you mentioned that in Azure space you have used AppLogic and function apps and many things. So can you high level tell me what all service you have used for what purpose?
Yeah, we have used the Azure Service Bus for intra communication between the two microservices, and we have used the function app to get that. There is we have a Azure storage queues. Some like we have an end customer trying to save the JSON file from the into the storage. Those as an input to our target flight. What is the how many numbers of passengers? What is the food information? Do we have any allergens information and any nutrition information kind of thing? They will place in terms of JSON file in a trigger. The function of will trigger it and it will save into the some stage table. From the stage table, our quad job will validate and it will pick. It will move to the final table to proceed the food in a international airports.
Right. Okay. And have you what all things you have tried in terms of a storage?
We have used the containers. We have used the NoSQL database. Used the queues.
Container is not for storage, right? Container is.
Containers is we are creating the container dev, QA, UAT, and production containers to save the purchase order information and invoice information.
Blob storage? Are you talking about blob storage?
Yes, blob storage, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good, Ramu. I think I'm done from my side, Ramu. Do you have any questions for me, Ramu?
I want to know what is the technologies you are exactly looking for. Can I know it?
Sure, yeah. So it's more of a plain .NET framework along with Web API based Web API written on the .NET framework. The new Web API which we are writing, they are planned to be written on the .NET Core. At some places we have started, some places we are more in the POC area as of now. So, but the target is to be on a .NET framework in some time. Per project it depends. For some project it's a year, for some projects it's more than 1 year. So that's what is the target. On the database side we are on a SQL Server, and on the cloud side we are on AWS, not on Azure. Azure is not our choice, but most likely
most are
they
the
are
same.
kind of,
Naming conventions are different, I know.
cousins. Right, they are cousins, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Ramu. Any other question?
Yeah, I got that information. Thanks, Harsha.
Thank you, Ramu. Thanks for your time. Certainly I had a good time.
Sure, thank you.
Enjoy.
Bye-bye.